Secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull, I subscribe to Spurs in Focus."
The San Antonio Spurs certainly had the power of Grayskull in Game 5, beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 126-97, lead the series 3-2. Welcome back to a brand new live episode of Spurs in Focus right here on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Amazon Podcast. I can go on and on. Yes, I am going to do it. YouTube Music, obviously YouTube. Go subscribe right now. Subscribe to Spurs in Focus on Substack, completely free. Google it, Spurs in Focus. Subscribe, be part of the crew. My name is Jeff Garcia, longtime Spurs writer in San Antonio. The guy next to me, you know him, you love him, Mr. Rudy Campos of the Sports Answer, who is jealous that he does not have the power of Grayskull. Don't be jealous, Rudy.
Or are
you the power of Grayskull? Maybe you are it.
Jeff, I'm not gonna say I have the power of Grayskull. I'm gonna go ahead and let Prince Adam have that. I would rather be in Skeletor's shoes. I like Skeletor. In that whole Masters of the Universe world, I like Skeletor. I'm a Skeletor.
Absolutely. All right. We're not going to nerd out. We're going to get into the heart of the matter. That is your San Antonio Spurs are now up 3-2 in the Western Conference semis. Once again, beating the Minnesota Timberwolves 126-97. Yes, it is going to be some good time. By the way, everybody, if you're out partying in the streets right now, San Antonio, don't be a knucklehead. Have fun. Celebrate. Don't do anything stupid, all right? There's your little PSA. Yeah, we're going to get into it all right now. We're going to give our general takeaways, our overall thoughts. I'll show you my takeaways in a few minutes. Then we're going to get into the turning point of the game, standout stats, standout players, and we're not going to forget about you guys. Spurs and Focus fans, leave a comment. Rudy's going to be reading to them and just reacting to them later on in the show before we put a bow on this episode. But yeah, Spurs took a belt and they gave it to the Wolves. Pretty much for the entire game. It was a little bit of a scare coming out of halftime, but other than that, no. The Spurs just wrapped up that fist and just punched the Wolves in the nose, and it was a win. Rudy, kudos to you. You called a kind of a rather large, wide margin of victory for the Spurs. I thought it was going to be like Game 1, just the Spurs winning. But no, you saw this coming. Why did you see this kind of a Spurs lopsided win coming to San Antonio?
Well, one thing I mentioned when we did the show last and I said we were going to have a lopsided win was because of the officiating. It was going to be officiated differently. You saw a lot of fouls called on both teams. Both teams were getting a lot of fouls called, but the physicality was still there, and they were going to watch Wemby a little bit closer. As you could see, he was getting a lot of fouls called, not on him, but against him, basically. And they kind of, they were able just to play a little bit through, and the Spurs were the more physical team. They were able to get to the basket. That's a stat we're going to get to a little while here. But they were just going to be dominant, man. Wemby, when he got thrown out of that game, the weird thing is he wasn't pissed off. He wasn't upset or anything. He was calm about it. And he was like, okay, no worries. You mean to tell me I'm going to get an extra 2.5 quarters of rest before the next game? I'm all for that. So that's why I figured they were going to come out strong. Not only that, the San Antonio crowd has just been electric this entire playoff so far. So yeah, I mean, everything pointed to a lopsided win for San Antonio, and the officiating, like I said, it was going to be called a lot tighter. You notice that, Naz Reid didn't get, he couldn't get away with a lot of stuff. Same thing with Jaden McDaniels. He got into fouls. I think he had 5 fouls tonight. So yeah, everything for me pointed to a Spurs lopsided victory, which I didn't expect this kind of lopsided victory, but hey, we'll take it, man.
When I say lopsided, it was at one point a 30-point lead for the Spurs. 3-0. You heard that right. Yeah. Overall, what I liked about it is just the Spurs set the tone early, particularly in Wembanyama. 21 points at halftime. I mean, he just really set the tone, coming off a kind of a frantic 48 hours after the elbow hurt around the basketball world. Mitch Johnson, after the game, did say that this was a mature Wemby that he saw out there. This was a all-around player that he saw on the court, not primarily a defender or an offensive guy, that he just showed maturity on the court, especially with everybody abuzz about his elbow and suspensions and should he not have, should he have been, all that stuff. So yeah, right away you knew the Spurs were coming out for business. And the other thing too is that, again, another general observation, another Spurs win. Not only was it lopsided, but also holding this team, Minnesota, under 100 points, 97. This is a team loaded with, on paper, firepower from Ant Edwards to McDaniels to Renaz Reed to Julius Randle. But no, they held this team to 38% shooting for the game. Yes, for the game. The Minnesota Timberwolves had no offense, really too much in their bag for the game. Another observation I didn't see really was this, is that even though they were coming off that elbow incident and, the Wolves going to be physical or not, they remained physical. They didn't back down. Got dirty, although they called a quick tech on Gobert to start the game. But outside of that, I thought the Minnesota was once again being physical with him, and Wemby responded appropriately. He did not crack, as we saw. He just let his game do the talking.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that was kind of a head that just popped. Basically, the volcano was getting ready to erupt. It's already been a few years that he's been physically, assaulted. We'll say basketball term, in the paint and on the court as well. So it kind of came to a head. He threw that elbow, and it was an intent elbow. I mean, everybody could see it was a very intent elbow. And he was able to just let it all out in that one play. Yeah, he got kicked out for the game, but he was going to be in there for game 5. Nobody really felt he was going to be suspended for it. But that's the thing, is that he was able to shake it off. And all season, when you and I have done shows, it's been the same thing. This is a team that when they've come off of a loss, they are never down about it. As you can tell, they were talking about the team in Minnesota that after the loss, they were laughing, they were having a good time, they were relaxed, there was no problem, no pressure, no nothing. This is a very different basketball team compared to a lot of past championship teams,
right?
Where we see, hey, we're on a loss and we've got to do this, we've got to do this. These guys take a loss as it was just another day at the office, and they kind of bounce right back. So again, it's funny. Regular season, we haven't seen more than a 2-game losing streak for San Antonio, and in these playoffs, every single loss they've bounced back in a massive way. So it's just a great overall team right now for the Spurs.
You look at this win and another blowout win for the Spurs, right? That's 2 blowout wins for San Antonio, while Minnesota had to squeak by to get their 2 wins. So, and that was a game even without Wemby. They still had to squeak by and kind of break it open until the bitter end in the game 4. That tells me on paper and now on court, there's no doubt about it, Rudy. Spurs are the better team, aren't they?
They are. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And it's actually on both ends of the court, man. They are a prolific offensive team. You've got 4 guys at minimum that can put up at least 16 points a night. When it comes to Wemby, Fox, Harper, and Castle. Then you get the shooting by Champagny, the right at the moment type of shots where he's knocking down a 3 here and there. Then you've got Keldon Johnson, who again, everybody was worried in that Portland series, and I said it was a matchup problem. Now he's playing against Minnesota, and you see the old Keldon Johnson, 6th man of the year, come into play. So this team would, we say earlier, we thought, well, is this the best Spurs team we've seen? I mean, we said it possibly could be because they play both sides of the ball. You saw them clamp down on Minnesota. And when Minnesota was making a comeback, Jeff, Spurs fans thought, oh, crap, here we go again, especially in the 3rd quarter. Here we go. We're going to blow another lead. No, that's the difference between this Spurs team and past Spurs teams, is that they concentrate just as much on the defensive side of the ball as they do on the offensive side of the ball. This is probably one of the most, I would say, from top to bottom, very few weaknesses Spurs team that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, there's very few weaknesses on this team. You think you have them down for the count, handing them a loss, as Rudy, you pointed out. No, they bounce back pretty fast. Remember, in the postseason, they have not lost back-to-back games. They have not. They lost 1 to Portland. They came back and win. They lost 1 to Minnesota to start the series, and they came back to win. Yeah. And we saw it again. They lost game 4, and they came back to win. So they don't take losing too well, and they really want to get back on the winning track. Here's the other thing, too. When I look at this Spurs team, once again, I'm reminded just how well-balanced they are. Just well-balanced. Victor's going to Victor. We know that, right? But
Yeah.
you saw in tonight's win, you got contributions from Keldon, contributions from Castle, from Harper, to Vassell, to Champagny. The list goes on and on, from Fox as well. And even when, the only, if you want to pick one bad thing that happened, there was one bad thing, was the start of the third quarter. The Wolves went on a plus 12 run. The score was 59-47 Spurs with the lead to start the third. And the Wolves go on as I mentioned, a 12-0 run to close the gap to 61 all.
Yeah.
And you saw contributions from Ayo, DeSumo, Jaden McDaniels. They scored 5 apiece. While the Spurs went cold. But look how they responded. So the Wolves go on a plus 12 run, right?
Yeah.
So after they were done with that run, you would think that this young team would get rattled, right? They get shaken up. They did not. This is how they answered. This is what I loved about it too. They responded with their own 18-0 run, a plus 18 run. So again, it was 61-61 in the third quarter, and they blow it out to 91-73 to end the quarter. And in that run, when I talk about contributions, Wemby, 3 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Keldon Johnson, 8 points. Steph Castle, 3 for 3, 6 points. Harper, 6 points. Shall I go on? Sure. Yes. The Timberwolves, the defensive eye for the Spurs, they caused Timberwolves 3 turnovers in that run. They go 3 for 12. Spurs defense holds the Timberwolves in that run. So just how balanced they are, not just individually, collectively, and offensively, that was a very, very great response from the Wolves coming out and trying to punch them in the mouth, and they just punched right back. In fact, they even punched harder because that blew out the game for them, Rudy.
Yeah, it did. And again, there you could hear all of collective San Antonio just like, oh crap, here we go again.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't go put gas in our car so we can't go honking tonight. But no, then the Spurs, they took that punch, and it seems like, I think Tim Gonzalez, a fan of the show, recently said this last game in Minnesota was like a 12-round fight. And that's exactly what we saw in this game. We saw that the Spurs were getting punched, but they punched back. They would do, a couple of uppercuts, a couple of jabs, and they would do a couple of combos, and it would just knock Minnesota back off of their pedestal. So the third quarter was the key quarter for both teams. Spurs were able to pull it off. They were able to break away and just run away with the game after that third quarter. But yes, this team, again, it's a very inexperienced team, but that doesn't matter, and that doesn't make a difference all season long. Again, we would have seen it at the beginning of the season or during the season when they would lose one game, lose another game. You finally thought, man, this is where the season's going to turn. They're going to probably go on a 5-game, maybe lose 6 of the next 8. This is going to be bad. Never happened at all. And it still doesn't happen in the playoffs. Every time you doubt this Spurs team, they show you something different. And tonight, Jeff, it felt like the reason why they're one of the best, if not the best defensive teams in the league. They clamped down Minnesota. A team that averages, I think, right around 108, 109, right around that part. So, it was a great win overall for San Antonio.
Yeah, the Wolves in the in this series, they average about 104 points per game versus the Spurs. Spurs held them to 97, which is just tremendous. Tremendous. You mentioned the defense. You cannot forget about this. Look at the defensive side of what the Spurs did. Offensively, they did enough to win. Yeah, duh. But 11 offensive rebounds to the Wolves 10. 39 defensive rebounds to the Wolves 32. So they won the battle of the boards. Blocks, obviously Spurs. You got a guy named Wemby there. Even Keldon Johnson had a tremendous block on Rudy Gobert. I mean, that thing was just vicious. 8-4 Spurs advantage. How about steals? The Spurs had 2 more steals than the Wolves, 9-7. And fewer turnovers, which is good. 15-16. I'll take it. But a big key for me, second chance points. That was the category that the Wolves were just cooking the Spurs throughout the series. And that really was one of the reasons why they were able to come back. Well, 12 points, second chance points for the Wolves in game 5. They averaged 21. Spurs did a better job at controlling that situation for them. So all in all, it just a tremendous, tremendous win for the Spurs. And Minnesota, now they are in a desperate mode now. They have to win the next. They are in a must-win situation.
Who said 6 games? This guy, right? Just to remind everybody, I said 6 games.
Okay, you did say 6 games, but
thank you.
We'll go back. We'll revisit that on Friday. Are you still certain about that though? You still feel it? I feel it. I feel like a game 7 is on the way.
I called Portland in 5. I called Minnesota in 6. I have no reason to doubt myself. And you know what? For everybody that's followed me and all of my shows in the past, you should never doubt me ever. So yeah, I'm calling 6.
Do you run Vegas? Because Vegas always wins. The house always wins.
No, I still have a full-time job. So I mean, if I ran Vegas, I wouldn't be working, man.
Yeah, I bet you'd be like Biff in Back to the Future 2 when he had the almanac. You have the almanac, don't you? You son of a bee. You have that almanac, don't you?
I will not confirm nor deny that I have that almanac. Sorry.
We are talking with Rudy Campos of The Sports Answer. He is on X at The Sports Answer. I'm on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Leave us your comments. We'll love to read them. But if you're in the chat right now, leave a comment. Rudy's monitoring it. He's the guy in charge. And later on this show, it'll be your time to react to the Spurs win. Yes, Spurs win 126-97, 3-2 lead heading to Minnesota Friday night, where maybe, just maybe, Rudy may be right once again. All right, Rudy, let me give you my big key takeaways from the game. I'll cue them up right here.
Let's go.
Where did I put them, everybody? Oh, there they are. All right, these are my 3 keys, or takeaways, I should say, from Game 5. Number 1, I kind of said it already. Wemby set the tone in the first. Just a dominant performance coming off the ejection. Didn't look worse for wear. Didn't look nervous. He was dealing with the physicality, and he was dishing the physicality as well. So kudos to Wemby. KJ finally comes alive. That was a big, big takeaway for me. You needed some production off the bench, and you got it from the 6th man of the year from San Antonio. He poured in 21 points, 2 rebounds in 22 minutes. He shot 50% from the field. And he shot 72% from the field. Way to go there, Keldon. Yeah, 72%, 8 for 11, and connected on 4 or 5 free throw shots. Yeah, just a all-around good game for Mr. Keldon Johnson. He was a plus 17 on the night for the Spurs. And more importantly, he came alive when you needed him. He had 5 points in the fourth quarter, 8 points in the third when the Wolves were trying to claw their way back into the game, and they did. They took a lead, everybody. Yeah, the Wolves took a lead for like a second. More than a bit, but that was it. Though they were like the Spurs were like Devastator in that GIF where he's like, ha 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 ha, no, and just shoots his laser beams at them. Yeah. That's what the Spurs were in that third period. And finally, my big takeaway, but it's actually from the Minnesota side. Ant has no help. He has 0 help. He ain't getting anything from Randall. You're getting bare minimal offensively from Rudy Gobert. McDaniels looked like he could have been that supporting cast for Ant, but he got into foul trouble. Shannon was a non-factor. Connolly was a non-factor. And Ant is starting to look gassed out there. He has 0 help. During the game, somebody asked me, oh, well, you think the Wolves can come back? I said, no, unless just one Wolf comes alive. And that didn't happen. So that was a huge takeaway for me. I didn't realize how much Ant is out there on an island by himself, Rudy. I'm going to leave this up here for a little longer. What do you think about my takeaways?
Yeah, your takeaways are good. Wemby setting the tone in the first quarter, coming off to that, ejection in Game 4. You kind of had a feeling he was going to come in and dominate early, set the tone, as you mentioned. Kind of looked a little not wobbly, but a little off on those first couple of 3-point attempts. Ended up getting fouled on one of them. Hey, when you get to see the ball go to the basket from the free throw line, it actually helps you a whole lot as a shooter. So then after that, everything settled down. He settled in. KJ, I mean, again, man, everybody dogging on Keldon Johnson in the Portland series. We were like, relax. It's a matchup thing. Comes back in a big form in Game 5. What does he have? What does he finish with? 20 points is what it was? 21
Keldon, he had 21 points. Yeah, 21 points, 2 rebounds, and 8 for 11 shooting, plus 17.
Yeah. I mean, you also could throw in the 2 steals and 1 block. So he kind of did everything tonight for San Antonio, brought the energy, made it tough for the big men down low for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And with no help, I'm going to give you a little pushback here, man. I mean, I've got to give you pushback on one of your takeaways. And Ant does have help. I mean, DeSumo was knocking down some shots to begin the third quarter.
It wasn't enough, Rudy, though. It wasn't enough.
No. I know it wasn't enough. He ended up with 16. Randall and Jaden McDaniels both had 17. But it's not so much that Ant doesn't have a whole lot of help. He's had help this entire playoff run already with Denver and against San Antonio previous to this. it's the Spurs defense, Jeff. The Spurs defense was on another level, if you can actually believe that. It was on another level tonight. So that's why it felt like he had no help tonight. It's not that he didn't have the help. He just, I mean, if he didn't have help, he would have gone easily for 35, 36 tonight.
Yeah.
He only went for 20 points. So the entire Minnesota team just struggled tonight. They went on runs, and it's the NBA. Teams are going to go on a run every single night. It's a key thing in the NBA. But it's not that they didn't have help. It's just the entire team just sucked tonight. I mean, I want to put it the easiest terms here. They just completely sucked in Minnesota. But I get what you're saying. Maybe somebody else needs to step up for Ant. But they were too worried about foul trouble, man. I mean, Randall was getting, key fouls here and there. McDaniels was in foul trouble to start the game. Actually, I think he had 3 fouls in the first half. So it was just an overall bad night for Minnesota. Naz Reid, he was really frustrated tonight. I'm sure he was frustrated because there was nothing done to Wemby other than an ejection, which I get. But the thing is that the Timberwolves had a really bad night, and it could carry into Game 6. Now,
I sure hope it does.
Those are your takeaways. I'll give you a couple of my takeaways. And again, my takeaways was the bench. I mean, you've got Keldon Johnson, who came off the bench, having the 6th man of the year. Dylan Harper, again, didn't go off for 20, but those 12 points were huge 12 points and key points of the game. Let's go all the way to Carter Bryant, man. I mean, he didn't have a great scoring night, 3 points. I mean, he was 1 for 1. That shot was a 3-point attempt, and he made it. But look at the length that he has on Anthony Edwards. He was covering over him all night when he played, and that's the thing you want to see from Carter Bryant. I don't need you to be an offensive-minded guy. I don't need you to do this and that. I just need you to bring your defensive presence to a guy like Anthony Edwards to make it tough. Make him run around. I don't care if you use 4 or 5 fouls. Just make it extremely tough. For me, one of the takeaways was the bench. Other takeaway was, again, the guy who doesn't get a lot of love. I don't know why, Jeff. De'Aaron Fox. I mean, come on, man. He's making key shots. He's getting to the basket. He's making, he's making tough layups. He's making it easy for the Spurs to win basketball games. And that's what people need to understand. I get it. Harper's the future. And I had a fan of ours actually message me and DM me on X and said, hey, Harper's making Fox expendable. I said, hold off there. Hold off. No. You don't want to get rid of a De'Aaron Fox just because you have a Dylan Harper who's going to be rising up the ranks. You've got Stephon Castle still. You have something that no other team, and actually I think maybe OKC does, but you have something that hardly every other team has, and that's 3 guards that can take over a game at any time. This is a guard-driven NBA now. You have 3 of the best in the game right now. You've got to keep them all together. So kudos to De'Aaron Fox. He did it again tonight. Devin Vassell, my takeaway was that he was really, really making me upset tonight.
Really? Interesting.
And I mean, it just seemed like there was a couple of fouls where he didn't have to foul. He had a couple of opportunities to knock down a bucket, and he didn't. He finished the game with 12 points, but it just felt like Devin was a little bit of a loose cannon tonight, and he didn't play under a control like he normally does. Wasn't a bad thing. I think he was a little overstimulated, we'll put it that way. A little excited, in this moment here. Maybe because they were up 20 points and he was just like, I'm having fun with this. But again, he kind of worried me a little bit. They're like, why are we doing this, Devin? You got to relax. You got to chill. Those are my takeaways, man.
No, I want to go back to your Fox comment here. You look at what he did in tonight's game, Game 5 here. 18 points. That's 1 point more than he's averaging in the series at 17. Okay. Rebounds, 2.8 rebounds average on the series. He had 4 in Game 5. He had a little bit more assists, 4.2 for the series, 5 in Game 5. And he went 6 for 15 from the field. Now, you're going to love this. Here we go. Let Rudy start popping his collar. All this, he'll slump into this chair like this, putting his hands, man, like this, like Chewy did in the Falcon. Rudy, your guy, De'Aaron Fox, he was a plus 24 tonight.
That's it.
Plus 24.
Telling you. I mean, I don't see the hate. I don't think you want to trade him either. I mean,
I believe he was tied for the highest plus minus. Yeah, him and Victor. Yeah,
Yeah.
him and Victor.
I mean, the guy's. It's weird because fans think, well, because you get paid this much money, you're expected to have a good game every single night, and it's like it's not possible, man. Not every guy has a good game every single night. I mean,
I thought you do.
No, not even me, Jeff.
What?
The nights that I have a bad game, it's because I don't try and I don't want to try. What's the point? I'm already the best there is, the best there was.
There we go. All right.
So why try most nights? I mean, you're feeding the ego here. But no. I mean, De'Aaron's. See, the problem is people think De'Aaron's the number 2 guy, but he gets paid as a max guy, so that's why people assume he's a number 2 guy. He's not exactly the number 2 guy. Is there really a number 2 guy on San Antonio? I mean, you can go Victor 1, you can go De'Aaron, you can go Stephon. Now you can go Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other options. So there's really no Robin. There's a Batman. There's a Nightwing, a Tim Drake, and who else you want to call it, for Batman there. So there's really more options at a second option than people realize. So that's why I kind of get on the De'Aaron Fox bandwagon every now and then.
All right, well, there you have it. Your general observations, takeaways from Game 5. Once again, Spurs win 126-97. They have a 3-2 lead in the series. Now, it does shift to Minnesota for Game 6. If there is a Game 7, it will be on Sunday. Hopefully not. But hey, Spurs earned the right to have home court advantage, and there you are. I want to go back to Vassell real quick before I take a break here.
Sure.
12 points, yeah, but he was a plus 22 on the night. He was a plus 22. He had a block. He had 2 defensive rebounds, 2 fast break points. He went 40% shooting from the field, 2 assists. So the numbers show that he was still a positive impact. But I think, are you trying to say you just want more out of him? Because even in that pivotal, second half, he poured in 7 points in the second half when the Wolves were trying to score him. So, I mean, he did enough. I think he did enough in Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're not supposed to cuss, but I'm not shitting on Devin Vassell. I mean, I'm really not. I'm really not. My thing is that it's like there was a couple of moments where he would get a ticky-tack foul, or he would have an open jumper, and it would he wouldn't make it. It would be like, come on, Devin, this is stuff.
He had 3 shots in a row where he missed. I remember that. He had 3 shots in a row. Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying. There was like a little bit of frustration, like, okay, these are shots you were making. These are shots that I think a couple of them were even wide open, and I'm like, really, like this has to go in. You got to get that confidence back. So it's not that we were raining on Devin Vassell, crapping on him or nothing. I'm not doing that. I just think for me, it was almost at the point where, okay, Devin, we may need to get you out of this game and bring in Harper or maybe Keldon, who's having a little bit better of a game, and just kind of go on to the next game from here. But again, not crapping on him. He had a good night. He was plus 22. But again, that's what we talked about last time. The plus or minus, to me, it can kind of seem a little wishy-washy because you can do okay throughout the game, not really make much of an impact, but you're a plus 22 because everybody around you is balling out and you're on the court at that time. So that's what I'm saying. I don't really look too much at the plus or minus a whole lot because it could be a little wishy-washy, but no, Devin had, he had a decent game. I just was more frustrated in certain times of the game with him.
All right, well, there you have it. All right. Once again, those are our takeaways, general observation of the Game 5 win for your silver and black. We're going to take a quick break, and super quick. And when we get back, we're going to do turning point, the standout stats, standout player, and then finally we get to you guys, Spurs and Focus comments you guys are leaving right now. I see it's very active right now, so keep it coming. All right, we'll be right back in just a few seconds. See, that was for you, Rudy, because you did say you're a
Skeletor guy.
Yeah.
By the way, a villains guy.
Skeletor did pull Evil in, so there's that.
And if you know, I'm a very villainous type guy. Skeletor, Evil Lyn. I got to go with Destro because he pulled the Baroness. I mean, Come on. Come on. There's a reason why you're supposed to be the bad guy in cartoons and stuff, because they tend to pull the good ones.
Exactly. We are here with a live episode of Spurs in Focus, talking about the Spurs Game 5 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah, beating them soundly 126-97 in Game 5, 3-2 lead heading into Game 6 in Minnesota. Now, we'll definitely preview Game 6 later on this week here at Spurs in Focus, but right now we're just reacting to the win for your San Antonio Spurs. All right, as always, Rudy does not know what button I'm going to press. So we're going to find out. He's going to be asked the turning point. Standout stats, standout player. Let's find out.
All right. Turning point for me is it's going to be the third quarter. But my turning point is when Minnesota went on that 12-0 run to tie the game in the third quarter. Why is that the turning point? Because then the Spurs said, "Oh, we are back on the court. We're still not in the locker room.
Yeah, wake up time.
We're playing basketball." That turned the game around. Then they went on a run of their own. They never looked back after that. Minnesota had, again, false hope. They were like, "Oh, that's cute." Spurs like, "That's cute. We're back now." They took away everything from Minnesota. The defense clamped down on Minnesota after that 12-0 run, made it tough for Anthony Edwards. The sumo got started early in that third quarter. Spurs shut them down. Kudos to Mitch Johnson and the coaching staff again. They made the adjustment after that 12-0 run, call timeout, made the huge adjustments. And after that, it was just game over, lights out. Turning point for me was thank you, Minnesota, for the 12-0 run, because it woke up the San Antonio Spurs. They went on a run of their own. Game over. Good night.
For me, my turning point was the ending of the fourth period. The Wolves did go on a mini run just to put a little bit of a scare in San Antonio. I think around the 5.5-minute mark, the score was 106-91 Spurs, and the Wolves were clawing back. But again, my turning point is how they closed it. They went on a plus 14 run, not 106-91, ended obviously 126-97. In that run, the Spurs go 8 for 11 from the field, while the Wolves go 1 for 9 and 0 for 5 from the three. That was my turning point, just putting the final nail in that coffin for Game 5. All right, what's next for Rudy? Let's find out.
Standout stats, man. For me, the standout stat is going to be a couple of them that I've always got for you guys. One of them is the assist ratio. 17 assists to 25. Spurs had 25 assists. I like that they shared the ball. Again, they've been dominating every single category. But again, with Minnesota clamping down on the defensive side against San Antonio these last few games, it was good to see San Antonio making those extra passes, finding a lot of guys in the paint. Even Victor Wembanyama finding Dylan Harper and a few guys in the paint, making it easier for them to score. So again, passing the rock, making sure that the guys were open, making good passes. That was one of the stats I got. Points in the paint, absolutely obliterated by the San Antonio Spurs, 36-68. I mean, they had 32 more points in the paint than the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's a massive stat. That shows that they controlled the paint and that Minnesota couldn't get anything down below, not only when Victor was not in the game, but even when Cornette was in the game, everybody clamped down on the paint, made it tough for guys like Julius Randle. Rudy Gobert just had a disastrous of a night because the Spurs did control the paint. One thing that I will say, Jeff, that I'm kind of upset on the negative stat that I've got here. We were talking massively great about the Spurs, how they were able to keep Minnesota off the fast break. Well, they got it to 15 points on fast break points tonight. Spurs did have 19, but didn't affect them tonight as much as it probably would in other games, but that's something I need to see San Antonio clamp down as well, is continue to get Minnesota less fast break points. Those are my standout stats of the night.
I got one standout stat for you guys. It's time of possession, time leading, I should say. The Spurs, again, it's a 48-minute game. They led for 46 minutes and 42 seconds. That's practically the entire – it was near a wire-to-wire win. How long did the Wolves lead? Remember I told you they made that little run to start the third quarter, and they took the lead. That little slim lead they had held on for 9 seconds. 9 seconds, and the Spurs just said, nah, you're good, Minnesota. Time to go to sleep. Time for the little cubbies to go into the little den with their mommies. They just a time of possession. My time lead, I should say. My goodness. 46 minutes, a little over 46 minutes. Wolves, they just didn't have a prayer in game 5 against the Spurs. All right, and the final category here, it's obvious.
Well, I would say De'Aaron Fox, but people are tired of me talking about De'Aaron Fox and
You have a
Stephon
De'Aaron Fox
Castle.
jersey underneath that shirt.
I
know you
don't. I don't even own a De'Aaron Fox jersey, man. No, my standout player is a guy that's already collected an award for San Antonio this year. That is Keldon Johnson, your sixth man of the year. Finally, a really good breakout game for Keldon in his first playoff appearance, and 21 points. It goes for 2 steals, a block, a big block on Rudy Gobert that surprised Rudy. I am definitely
it surprised Wimby too. Wimby got pumped off that one.
He did get pumped up for the game. Just a great overall performance by Keldon Johnson. Made it difficult for Gobert, for Randall, as well as Naz Reid. Didn't get phased by the physicality, played physical back against Minnesota. Keldon Johnson, welcome to the NBA playoffs. I hope you continue to put up at least 17, 18 points for the rest of the playoffs, because if you do, I think I'm going to have to get size for my number 6 Spurs ring that we'll be getting this year.
Ooh, Rudy's already going out there. Rudy's going out there already. So they got to face a team named the Thunder, but
please come on.
I know. I knew you were going to react that way. No, Keldon Johnson, yeah, for sure. And what I liked about his performance in Game 5 is, again, what he did in the second half. He had 13 points in the second half. That's where the bulk of his points production came. But it's not just that what he did, because remember, as I said, the Wolves, they came out storming in the third period. They had a baby small run in the final period to make things a little interesting. But here's Keldon Johnson. He went 3 from 3 from inside the 3-point line. Yeah, he made all his 2-point shots. I actually went 4 for 4 because he also made 1 3-pointer in the second half. He was a plus 20 for the Spurs in the second half. And again, 13 points in that period. And just off the chart shooting. His true shooting percentage in the second half was 112.8. This guy was just on fire. 4 fast break points, 1 foul, 1 block, 1 steal. Perfect from the free throw line. Yes, Keldon Johnson definitely deserves the love. For me, I know it's too easy, but I got to go with Victor, not because of the obvious, but because how
you have a Victor jersey? Because you always.
I actually, you know what? I'm looking at a jersey I have right now. No, I own a Steph Castle jersey. I think
Victor's paying you under the table to keep saying his name every day.
Hey, well, probably my asking price is probably just a drop in the bucket for that guy. But no, you couldn't ignore not because of the production, which was good, but because for me is how he responded from the elbow incident. Should he have been suspended? Should he not have been suspended? All that swirling around his first ejection, in his career. Also, too, at the worst possible time in the playoffs. We're going to get beast mode, Victor, and we pretty much did. Again, to start the first quarter, 18 points in quarter number 1 from Victor Wembanyama. He was a plus 13 in the opening frame, 6 rebounds, 1 assist in 8 minutes. And at halftime, he had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. He was a plus 21 and shot 40% from the 3 line. Doing it all from inside and out. To me, that's why he stands out, because the numbers, we know Victor's going to Victor. We get that, but I just liked how he responded. The Wolves were still physical with him. You saw Randall wrestling with him. You saw DeSumo wrestling with him. It was still the physicality, but he responded well. He kept his cool. He didn't unload again. And that's why he's my standout player, because not only his box score production, but because of how he came out on the mental side and handled everything. And kudos to Victor and your San Antonio Spurs. All right, it's that time of the show where we dive into what you guys are talking about. Rudy's been watching y'all, kind of like that Obi-Wan Kenobi spirit above everybody. Yes, Spurs and Focus fans, you shall leave comments in the comment section. All right, Rudy, what do you got?
Yeah, we got a few. We only got a few of them tonight, so not a big deal.
That's cool. They're probably out. Hey, if you're out there partying in the streets, just be careful.
I'm sure it is. It's saying, let's get it. Chris is back in here. Says BTA again. If you don't know what that means, you may want to look it up. It's not, I can't really say it on
means
there.
Belt to ass. That's what it means.
Yeah. Well, or beat that ass. So we'll go either way. Jacob Eric, grading the markets in here as well. He says, what's up, y'all? Shout out to Jacob. The Wolves looked like they were tired. Spurs wore them off.
You see that one there.
Good.
They did. The Wolves do look tired, and especially Ant. I don't know how much those knee issues are bothering him, because there was a couple of plays where he kind of stopped and didn't get more involved in the Wolves offensive side of things. I wonder that has to do that the Spurs are doubling team him. They're double teaming him. They're making him work. So, and as of now, I know Rudy differs from what I said. I still don't think Ant has the consistent help he needs. And I think that's wearing on him. And just collectively, the Wolves look like the reality could be settling in. Like, oh my God, this team is just better than us. That's the vibe that I got after Game 5. All right, what else is everybody saying?
Okay, so let me ask you that. Do you think that actually is a thing, that he thinks that the Spurs are better?
I don't think he thinks. Just you could just see it in their faces. Like, we got no answer for Wemby. Then again, who does? But Gobert theoretically should, and he's not really doing much. By the way, Gobert is just like clumsy as you know what. Like, he's just clumsy. You pass him the ball, he like doesn't know what to do with it.
He doesn't have very good offensive instincts. I mean, Rudy Gobert is not an offensive threat at all. It never has been. So he's more of a rebounder. He's just more of a defensive presence. He specializes the defense. So when you get the ball, when he gets the ball in the paint, it's not that he's clumsy. He just doesn't have the offensive skill set to know I have to do this. Similar to when Ant told him during the game tonight, he did say, hey, when you grab the ball, just kind of go up with it. I mean, he tries to do too much. He tries to look cute, and it doesn't really work for him. So you can't expect a whole lot from Gobert. Now, everybody else around Ant, again, I know what you said earlier when it came to he doesn't have the help. He has the help. It just tonight, everybody, including Anthony Edwards, just was off of their game. I think if you're looking at it like that, you're probably taking credit away from San Antonio's defense. I mean, they were able to clamp down on Minnesota tonight, made it tough, because if there was no help, then like I mentioned, Ant would have had, 36, 37 tonight. But everybody had right around that 17 points a game. The Sumo had, I think, 16. Jaden McDaniels and Randall had 17. Naz Reid, I think, had 12. So, I mean, not overall bad scoring by Minnesota. It's just the Spurs were playing so physical, and their defense was so on point tonight. I don't think it's not that he didn't have help. I think it's just that they were just a very bad team tonight when it came to Minnesota. But again, I'm not arguing the fact that what you said.
And I know you're mentioning about how he had contributed and had help from others, but it's like negative help though, because you look at Julius Randle. By the way, you're a Wolves fan. You're probably wondering if you should trade this guy or that Cat trade should have ever happened. The Cat in the Minnesota uniform right now will look a lot better than Randle. So Randle, 17 points on the night, sure. But he was a minus 22 for the Wolves in Game 5. He goes 0 for 4 from the 3 line. All right. Didn't really shoot the ball that well. 6 for 17. So I guess, not really, 35% shooting. And it just baffles me because he's a big dude. And he could, dislodge Wemby out of his position. He can bully a guy like Keldon Johnson. And you saw during the game, even the announcers were saying, like, Julius Randle, you got to get going. Julius Randle, you got to get going. He only had 2 points in the opening frame, and he's like a little bit too little too late in the fourth period. That's where he had the most of his scoring at 9 points. Even then, in the fourth, he was still a -4 for the Wolves. So you got to wonder, would things be different if Cat was in a uniform still and not Julius Randle? I think it may be I would say yes. All right. What else is everybody saying?
Tim Gonzalez, 75% of whoever wins Game 5 up 3-2 win the series.
We'll take that.
That's what I'll go back to that. That's why I told you when you mentioned about Game 3, I was like, I understand Game 3, but I'm more interested in Game 5 because if you're 2-2, then Game 3 is just kind of a wash. So Game 5 to me meant, more than anything between the teams. I thought Jeff was going to give outstanding stats to those two fans who dressed up as alien costumes.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't even see that. Yeah. Wolves got out of the gym trying to get in Wemby's head, out of the game trying to get in Wemby's head. That is a fact. They really were trying to get into Wemby's head. He kept this cool. Shout out to Mortal Kombat 2, Shaolin Monks as well. Kind of tied in with Wemby there a little bit. He was able to.
I might go see the new movie sometime tomorrow or today.
I heard it's pretty good.
I heard it's pretty good. Yeah.
So, they are trying to get in his head. Juan Piece is in here, says shout out Castle. Only 3 fouls.
There you go. Yeah. And we didn't even touch on Castle. Yeah, 17 points in the night, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, +4 for the Spurs. And I did really, really good. Although he went scoreless in the first period, but he came alive in the second half with 12 points.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah, four turnovers though that did hurt, but nevertheless 3 fouls. So shout out Castle.
Tim Gonzalez, did Wimby still move from Jamal Crawford on place at Reggie Miller? Jamal Crawford has been working with Victor Wembanyama the past couple of years, so we will see a little bit of movement there.
Yeah, we saw the dream shake. Didn't we see the dream shake?
We did. Yeah. We even saw he palmed the ball like he was going to shoot and ended up passing.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Again, I'm going to do a whole show on Wemby. I guess I'm going to have to because you're making me feel bad for not calling him the great of all time right now. But I'm late. But Harper leading all bench players in points is huge as a rookie. CV, I'm glad you're here because maybe Jeff can finally give me kudos when I said last show that Harper's going to be a superstar.
When did I ever disagree with you with that? I never disagree with you with that.
Okay, so let me bring it back. I said he was going to be a superstar.
He has receipts, everybody. He has receipts.
A superstar, you think? I said, yeah, he's already going to be
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right. So not that you didn't believe me, you just kind of said, well, why are you calling him a superstar?
Hey, well, didn't you also call that he should have been the number 1 pick, not Flag?
Dylan Harper should have been the number 1 pick. Before the damn draft even happened, my rankings were Harper, Ace Bailey, Cooper Flag. 1, 2, 3. And I never changed it. Dallas, you got Cooper Flag. Congratulations. You got the second, maybe third best player in that draft. San Antonio drafted the one guy that's going to be a force to be reckoned with for years.
What do you think about VJ, though? VJ is not that bad.
VJ Edgecombe, after the rankings came out, I probably had him at 4 or 5. That's who I had. But Cooper Flag was ball dominant. If you give the same opportunity to Dylan Harper runs away probably unanimously as a rookie of the year. That's how good he is on another team. So luckily San Antonio was able to get him. Booty Gobert. I've been called Booty 1 or 2 times in my lifetime. Champagne had some great open threes, missed it. Well, high school, they used to nickname him Booty Campos.
I thought that was the nickname your wife gives you. Sorry.
No, definitely. She has words that we cannot say.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's between
4-letter words. Right? Yeah, 4-letter words that she calls me that are very bad. Champagne had some great open threes missed. It's 2 games now. If he ain't gonna make them, let Carter get some minutes. What do you think on that? Because Carter's been getting some good run, but I don't think you take out Champagne over missed threes.
No. I think I know Champagne has been a little iffy in the 3-shot of late. He started off pretty well in Game 5. Yeah, he finished with 8 points on the night. He had, I think he had 3 points. Yeah, we had the 3-shot in the opening period. Yeah, but he's still a little more of a legit threat. And I think I like Bryant coming off the bench for now. I think that's the perfect spot for him. So I think you stick with Champagne unless the wheels fall off. But other than that, no, we're good.
I'll tell you, Derek Gervin and I talked earlier about Carter Bryant. He's going to be fighting for some starter minutes probably in the next couple of years. That's how good that we think he's going to be. CV's dropping a lot of comments. Love it. What's with DeSumo and Ant-Man getting in Wemby's face before Wemby destroyed the rim?
Gamesmanship, that's all it is.
Yeah, but you saw the push at the end.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. But hey, welcome to the playoffs.
Well, I'm glad Victor didn't respond.
Exactly. I think they're trying to get under his skin to see if he retaliates.
We got Silver Wolf Ventures again. Appreciate you joining us here because he always joins the show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, what a game from our Spurs. Second, go Spurs go. Third, what about our rookie Harper? And fourth, this game was the final uppercut that's going to lead to the knockout in Game 6. Even he calls Game 6. Jeff.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Yeah, we did talk about Harper a little while ago, so just rewind it a little bit. And you'll hear what we had to say about Dylan.
If you saw McDaniels, he was frustrated. I was picking up that 5th foul.
Yeah, he looked like he was in a bad mood.
Well, I guess now he can't come out and say that this team doesn't play defense like Denver did. So he has no motivation. Correcting this up. Dylan Harper continues to leave speechless. Is good. Yeah,
agreed.
Love it. Love the Harper love. He has Cade-like potential and more. That is Dylan Harper. We're good with Harp. And then last comment, at times Harper looks like a vet and Fox looks like a rookie. That's how good the kid is. I will say if you want to look at it like that, but Harper looks better than Fox in a lot of situations. Now, not downplaying Fox, but Harper does look good. I don't know, Jeff. I need you to look at this at the next game because I kind of noticed this too. And for the fans that always talk to us, does the team look better with Fox and Harper in the backcourt than they do with
That's a
Fox
great
Castle,
question.
Harper
I've,
Castle?
I've been toying with that topic for a future episode of Spurs in Focus, but I don't know. I think Fox is hearing footsteps, but I'll still give a slight edge to Fox as of now over Harper. But I think next year, I think Mitch and the coaching staff have a problem because Harper is starter worthy. And so is Castle, and so is Fox. Something's gonna have to give now, unless he's cool with being part of that bench reserve. Fox, I think that's the only way because you don't bench Castle. You can maybe bench Fox, but I don't know if Fox is ready for that. And I don't think the Spurs would do that to him.
So this is where it comes into play. You have Fox, you have Harper, you have Castle start. I mean, I'm being dead serious. Those three guys is starting. I did say a long time ago when they drafted him, we're going to see that lineup. The reason why is because those three guys are going to get the Spurs off to a very fast start. I mean, extremely fast start. You wouldn't have to rely so much on Victor to kind of kick the tires and all that stuff to get the game going. Those three guys can get the Spurs off to a tremendous start to start every single game. But again, for Spurs in Focus, take a look at this because look at the next game. If you have when Fox and Harper play together, to me, it seems like the passing is crisper. It seems like they're able to get to the basket. It seems like you're able to see a lot more pick and roll. It just seems a lot more fluid than when you see Fox Castle or Harper Castle. I think those two guys in the backcourt actually make the team a little bit better in sense, but it's something for you to kind of look at too. I've looked at it. I've toyed with it. I'm going to talk to Derek about it. We may talk about it on Friday for the drive. So some other stuff.
Real quick, just to add to this. So according to Data Baller, Fox and Castle on the court together, they're a +8. All right. And then who's the other combo you want here? Fox and Harper or Castle and Harper?
So do we Castle and Harper now?
Okay, so Castle and Harper, let's see what that gives us. So remember, Fox and Castle, a +8.
Yeah.
Castle and Harper, +11.5.
Now do Fox and Harper.
Okay, let's do Fox and Harper now. So we had a +8, +11, +7.
Okay.
So the Castle-Harper combo works slightly better.
Slightly better. And then you've got Fox and Harper right after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, it's relatively close, man. It's relatively close.
Yeah.
That's why you don't get rid of any of these guards. I mean, that's why you keep them. Look at the thing they got. A lot more comments coming in at time. Okay, so Perry Perez is in here. Yo, Clan, if they take Rudy Gobert out of the game for Game 6, do we need to bring Milk Chocolate in, Cornette and Wemby?
I'm fine with that.
That's a good one. Silver Venture, thanks, guys, for the great Spurs content.
Yes, thank you guys for showing up.
Harper, 5 offensive boards. If they take Gobert out of the Game 6, we got that comment in.
That one.
I think it's safe to say that if Harper fits in better with the Spurs first unit, and Fox could probably benefit coming off the bench, so he'll get more opportunity to play his game. That's a very
conversation they're going to have in the offseason.
It's a difficult talk. I think that's a whole episode that we could do.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think they will take pay cuts, stay together. The chemistry is good between them.
I think so too.
Wemby's going to go the route of Tom Brady and Tim Duncan. He's not going to.
You think so?
I believe so. I believe he's.
I hope so.
He's going to get his max deals, but he's also going to get his first max deal. But let's not deny that he's going to get his first max deal. It's those deals later on that he's going to want to have to continue to have the Spurs to be successful.
Did he qualify for the Supermax or no? He still has to win like an MVP or something like that.
I think he's good now because Defensive Player of the Year. He should have an All NBA. So I think he's good for the Supermax now.
Okay. Right.
Minnesota go with small game in 6 and Rudy off the bench. Could be, but I don't think so, man. I mean, there's nobody to guard Wemby. Gobert's the only guy that really could guard him.
That's all they got, yeah.
Fox is not scoring easy on J-Mac, but he's getting him in foul trouble, which again, that's the thing. Fox can draw a lot of fouls, and that's what you saw tonight. Last comment, however, for this season, you don't fix what's not broken. They're winning. Harper is coming off the bench and becoming a huge asset. Either way, the Spurs have 3 very talented guards.
Yeah, they can. It's a good problem to have for the San Antonio Spurs for sure. And Big Body Johnson has a 6th man of the year. He did. Yeah, we talked about that. Really jumped on that right away. Hey, thanks you guys. Yeah, thanks guys for leaving your comments. We appreciate it. You're keeping us going here at Spurs in Focus. We definitely appreciate it. Rudy, before I let you go, you put a bow on the show. Final thoughts again, because they probably won't. Hopefully, get to talk to you. We do a show together. But if we don't, your thoughts on Game 6.
So thoughts on Game 6 is I've got it as a closeout game. I do have the Spurs winning and closing it out in Minnesota. This was that game where Minnesota had to really, really come in and just put their foot on the Spurs' neck. Did not happen. Spurs came through, gave them all the confidence in the world, kind of deflated at Minnesota. I don't see them going to another Western Conference final, not their 3rd in a row. My thoughts are going to be that I think the Spurs come out, clamp down on defense. Do not be surprised if Minnesota gets off to a very fast start. Maybe gets out to an 8-9 point lead. Spurs will stay calm. Mitch will call timeout. Sean Sweeney will get the defense loaded up again. Spurs, I believe they actually go on to win. And I'm going to say it's probably going to be around, I called 117, 110 last game. It was 115, 108. I'm actually going to go with 115, 107. Spurs with the win.
Hopefully you're right again. You'll get my thoughts on Game 6 and more in a later episode of Spurs in Focus this week. By the way, we will have a new episode of Spurs in Focus tomorrow. James Espinosa with the Sunday Rush out in Corpus. He's going to be joining us, so we'll definitely be talking more Spurs, playoffs, Wolves series, so much more. So look forward to that. Hey, guys, again, we thank y'all for tuning in on this episode of Spurs in Focus Live Edition, and we definitely appreciate it. That guy you see on your screen, he is Mr. Rudy Campos with The Sports Answer. The answer keeps on going, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, we got another good show. The Friday Drive is on Fridays. Actually, we start about 5:30. Jeff was actually there with me this past Friday, but it's myself and Derek Irvin. You'll catch Jeff on there from time to time. New feature we've got a phone line, so you can actually call. Nice. If you want to participate in the phone on the show. You can ask Derek questions, myself questions. It's a great thing. We've also are starting to relaunch another show for the Sports Answer. It's going to kind of be a 10-minute type of show. But that'll be coming out very, very soon. And also you can catch Spurs in Focus on Answer Now TV on YouTube. So tons of stuff going on, man. We're just super, super busy over here.
That's why you got to follow him on X at The Sports Answer. Do that right now. Rudy, thank you for your time joining us. Post-game, Spurs win once again, 126-97, 3-2 series lead over Minnesota. Game 6, hopefully a closeout game this Friday in Minnesota. So we'll see if the Spurs can get the job done on the road, and we'll definitely react to that. More than likely, Rudy and I would be live for that Friday night after the game's over. By the way, it's a late game on Friday, so that's a good thing. We don't have to work the next day. So
I have to work, man. Come on.
All right. Well, we'll try to make it short and sweet. Yes. Till next time there, James. Yes, we appreciate it. And for y'all tuning in right now, go subscribe to Spurs in Focus on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Music. Don't forget about the Substack, completely free. Just Google Spurs in Focus Substack, click the link, hit subscribe. You're in. You're part of the crew. So we definitely appreciate it. By the way, make sure that Spurs in Focus is your first and only spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. You want to go to any other show on YouTube or anywhere else. You want to come right here, your first listen, your first watch, every single time you need some Spurs answers. So for Mr. Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia, and now you're in focus with Spurs in Focus.